This is Adam Bernard with AutoPerspectives. Welcome back and Happy New Year. It is 2026, and through the magic of delayed posting, as you view this, I am probably on the floor of the Las Vegas Convention Center attending CES 2026, the event formerly known as the Consumer Electronics Show. So I will be back next week with a look at some of the automotive-related news coming out of Las Vegas. But in the meantime, I wanted to start the new year by hitting on some of the more interesting stories that wrapped up at the very end of December. Hopefully you all enjoyed your holidays and perhaps a little time off. But meanwhile, let's get into it. We will start with Jaguar's new GT. Now, the drama continues at JLR. You might have read a few weeks back that Jerry McGovern, the chief creative officer and the designer behind a lot of the current products on the road, was reportedly walked out of JLR offices. JLR, a little while later, said, "We have not terminated Mr. McGovern's employment." So no one really knows where he is. Fired, quit. We're still waiting for information on that. Meanwhile, here we have a rendering from Auto Express on the new Jaguar GT, name still to be determined. This was supposed to be revealed at the end of 2025, but that has been pushed out to sometime early this year with deliveries beginning in 2027. Unfortunately, that delay, which has a lot to do with what's going on in the EV market, leaves Jaguar without any vehicles now that the F-Pace production has ceased. Meanwhile, Autocar and several other media outlets have had a chance to drive the highly disguised but apparently technically complete Jaguar prototype, one of 150 that are out there. This has allowed some more details on the product itself to emerge. It is a tri-motor configuration, putting out about 1,000 horsepower with a 30-70 split from front to rear for the torque, a battery of about 120 kilowatt hours, and a reported range of about 400 miles, which I'm assuming is on the WLTP cycle. That would translate probably to about 320 miles plus or minus on the EPA cycle. It is supposed to be largely aluminum, which is good because JLR has a lot of history and expertise in that. And they are targeting a curb weight of about 6,000 pounds, so no lightweight, certainly, about 900 pounds more than a Bentley Flying Spur. Now, that does sound like a lot, but keep in mind, this is a larger vehicle than you probably think it is. It's apparently about 212 inches long, which makes it 3 inches longer than a Flying Spur, but probably a little wider and a little lower. It has, of course, rear wheel steering to aid maneuverability due to that long wheelbase, as well as some nice 23-inch wheels. Underneath, you'll find an independent 3-chamber air suspension. All of this will start at about 120,000 pounds sterling, or about $160,000, and go up from there. We assume there'll be a lot more bespoke capability with this new vehicle when it does eventually hit the road. And at the other end of the market, we have Smart. Smart recently showed the #6, or the number 6, which is a midsize sedan, and now we see their new entry-level vehicle, which should be revealed at the end of this year. The previous generation EQ fortwo, the electric two-seater, that was the third generation model, ended production in 2024. The final versions were actually built under contract by Ineos at the old Smart plant, which Ineos bought to build Grenadiers back in 2020. The new entry-level vehicle, a spiritual successor to the fortwo, was announced several months ago. And it will join the #1, #3, and #5 SUVs, and of course, the new #6 sedan. And yes, it will be called the #2 because number 2 is just not the right way to refer to a vehicle. And of course, it does echo the original Smart fortwo name. It's actually pretty far along. There have been prototypes spotted out testing. It uses the prototypes use the body of the outgoing fortwo. So we assume that the styling of the new vehicle will both echo a bit of the original and pick up some of the newer Smart design cues. It is unclear if the space frame construction and removable body panels that were rather distinguishing features of the original fortwo will make it to production. Underneath the new #2 is an all-new electric compact architecture. Now, up to now, all the new Smart vehicles are built on Geely platforms. Geely is in a joint venture with Mercedes over Smart. Geely builds them, Mercedes designs and sells them, Geely does all the engineering. This new platform was jointly developed by Mercedes and Geely in Europe because this is a European targeted vehicle. It does retain the rear drive configuration of the previous fortwo, and Mercedes has hinted that it could source a larger 4.4 successor. So I wouldn't be surprised to see something show up at the Auto China next year in April, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. Volkswagen is planning to get into the robotaxi biz. This is a follow-up to the Gen Travel concept that was shown in 2022, and it's called the Gen Urban. VW currently has a fleet of ID Buzz vans traveling around under the Volkswagen's Moya business unit, and that's currently testing their autonomous hardware, but they actually want to come out with a bespoke vehicle like the Tesla Cybercab or the Amazon Zoox, for example. They're currently testing VW's autonomous driving tech in Wolfsburg in prototypes like this. It can currently run a 10-kilometer, 20-minute route without a driver. Obviously, there's a test driver here, kind of checking things out. There are no tech specifications available yet, so we don't know anything about motors or batteries or range or charging. But you can obviously see some external sensors and cameras to support the autonomous driving capability. Like the Cybercab, it reportedly has no steering wheel or pedals. We haven't seen the interior of it yet. But there is a joystick for the safety monitor to use to intervene if needed. It's also being used to test how customers behave in a self-driving vehicle. After a few years of relative silence and some misfires, the whole robotaxi idea and autonomous driving is kind of kicking up again. We've seen a lot of automakers doing some more investments over the past year. We're waiting for the Cybercab to launch theoretically at the end of 2026. We've seen Waymo ramp up their fleet and add a new Geely-based vehicle there as well. So we'll see if Volkswagen figures out if they can make a go of this or not. Over in Japan, Toyota and their subsidiary Daihatsu are getting into the small electric urban van business. Back in 2023, we saw the Toyota Kayo Ibako concept. And then at this year's Japan Mobility Show, there was a kind of an updated version, actually multiple versions of this vehicle. And since we kind of missed it in our coverage of the Tokyo Motor Show, I figured I would cover it here. The van that you see here is the larger of the two that's going into production. It's still quite small, about 6 inches shorter than a Ford Transit Courier, which is one of the smaller delivery vans that you can get in Europe. Daihatsu showed the original concept from 2 years ago, as well as a smaller K-sized van. K-size is in K-car, K-E-I, fits into that class of vehicles. And that vehicle has a single sliding door on each side. There are a variety of variants available. There's a camper variant with a pop-up roof tent, a rear ladder, retractable awning, and a portable table and chairs. Other variants are targeted at small businesses like food trucks, and one was shown also with a wheelchair accessible interior. And speaking of the interior, as you can see, it's fairly minimalist. There's a small touchscreen there, a steering yoke, and a full-width panoramic display at the base of the windshield, not unlike BMW's new panoramic iDrive. And then there's a window below that display for improved forward visibility. We don't have any technical details on either of the two vans, but they're both rumored to be electric, with at least the small van getting a range of about 124 miles on the Japanese cycle. Reportedly, Toyota will be building the larger van, and then Daihatsu will be building the smaller van. It's likely that both vehicles will get both badges. We may see some of these in Europe. Obviously, both too small for the U.S. market. But there is a pretty lively commercial vehicle market, especially at the low end in Japan. And so Daihatsu has been a part of that for a while, and Toyota is looking to get a piece of the party as well. We shift over to Nissan and China. Nissan in a lot of the world is struggling. Aging and in some cases uncompetitive products, portfolio gaps, financial challenges, etc. But this NX8 that was recently unveiled in China is pretty darn impressive, and it turns out to be the brand's first EREV or extended range EV. It is just a little smaller than the Pathfinder. It is a 3-row SUV and developed with their Chinese partner Dongfeng. It features an 800-volt architecture with ultra-fast 5C charging. 5C means theoretically it takes about 12 minutes to charge the battery up. As this is an EREV, it's a smaller battery, so that's not as impressive as it sounds. But it does mean that this platform could support and will support a full EV with ultra-fast charging as well. Now, the EREV features a 1.5-liter engine and 195 kilowatt electric motor with up to a 37 kilowatt-hour battery and an equivalent EPA range of about 95 miles, which is pretty good for an EREV, better than just about any plug-in hybrid out there in the market. This powertrain is shared with the recently released N6 sedan and will join a fully electric version with a single motor drivetrain offering up to 335 horsepower. Around back is what they call a quantum OLED tail lamp panel with 2,064 individual units and customizable lighting patterns. The NX8 features automated driving technology for highways, urban driving, and parking supported by LiDAR. Again, LiDAR is something you don't necessarily see on a kind of mid-range SUV, but we're starting to see that populate a lot of the mid-range and even some of the lower-end Chinese vehicles of late. Nissan is one of several legacy automakers that have been teaming up with Chinese partners to co-develop new vehicles, both to better target Chinese market, to fill portfolio gaps, and to get to market faster. So not the last new Nissan that we'll see collaborated with Dongfeng, but we'll see if any of these actually make it out of China or if they'll be restricted to that market. China's Chery Automotive has been around for quite a while. They even, I believe, quite a while ago made an appearance at the Detroit Auto Show. Never wound up making it into the North American market, but they continue to prosper outside of North America. And in 2017, they launched the Exeed premium SUV brand. And in 2020, they actually announced plans to sell Exeed in the U.S. market in 2021. Those plans were scuttled only a few months later when it turns out the distributor filed for bankruptcy. So that's why we never saw Exeeds over here. European exports of Exeed products began under the Xlantics brand in 2025. But at the end of 2025, in December, Exeed launched what they called their 3.0 era to reboot the brand, focusing on two new product families. SUVs, the ET family, and shooting brakes or station wagons, which is the ES family. And you see the four newest vehicles here. Exeed remains at the top of Chery's portfolio as a new energy luxury brand. And so there are quite a few bells and whistles that they talked about in the context of this brand reboot. There's a new Panchi 3.0 structure. That's the new platform featuring an industry benchmark 2400 megapascal hot formed steel, as well as the industry's first zero gravity seat cocoon airbag. So haven't seen it yet, but it sounds rather interesting. New technology here includes level 4 automated driving supported by 8 LiDAR units, naked eye 3D displays, which means 3D that doesn't require special glasses, and intelligent lighting systems. Some of the vehicles, you see them on the SUVs here, feature coach doors. There are rotating seats and what they call 4D mechanical massaging seats. And the powertrain itself is also rebooted, either EV or EREV. It includes an internal combustion engine with a best-in-industry 48% thermal efficiency, high-performance axial flux motors, just like Mercedes will use with AMG, a 1,000-volt electrical architecture, and solid-state batteries. Now, the first new Chery in this strategy will show up within 10 months. 3 more will show up in the 10 months that follow. And also, Exeed will now be the first Chinese brand to compete as a factory team at Le Mans. So, you know, we've seen a lot of other European luxury brands compete there and then take some of their learnings and apply it to their production vehicles. So the assumption is that Exeed will be doing the same as well. So it should make for an interesting competition. And that about wraps things up. As I said, welcome to 2026. If you like what you've seen here, please subscribe and share. You can learn more and read the blog at AutoPerspectives.net, and we'll be back in about a week with a look at what happened at CES in Las Vegas. Thanks very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.